Welcome to the Backrooms, Level 22, Environmental Hazard. Survival difficulty class is 5E. Environmental. It is unsafe, unsecure, and there are non-entity hazards. Level 22 was at some point an infinite average looking car park, which was at some point taken over and later on abandoned by a society that inhabited it. It was initially discovered in 1925. Level 22 was initially nothing special. It took the appearance of a 20th century multi-story car park, which was filled with various parked cars and shopping trolleys, all of which used to be full of buildings, supplies, and food. Due to the infrequent amounts of hostile entities in level 22, this location acted as a hub for countless groups and individual communities. In 1987, level 22 was declared a small micronation, becoming independent of any other fraction within other levels of the Backrooms. From then on, the micronation within level 22 continued to grow rapidly. By 1990, most entrances to level 22 had been closed by its inhabitants, with this group officially isolating itself and giving itself the new title M-Stable. While the M-Stable began negotiating the trades with both the MEG and the BNTG in 2012 and 2015, respectively, this independent faction would very rarely allow those who were not part of their group into the level. Because of this, very little is known about the faction's members, economy, political structure, or general day-to-day life. From what few studies were done, the community had a rigid castle system that divided inhabitants into families. These different groups would discover each work on different floors of level 22. Each group would have a variety of tasks to fulfill, with each one giving a fraction of their total resources produced to the floor above, keeping whatever was left for themselves. What is unknown who founded Emstable it is known that 3 individuals were the flagships of the empire's creation, as well as others lived on the highest floor of level 22, supporting a surprisingly lavish lifestyle given the conditions and environment. They were known to have Wi-Fi, leisurely devices like a pool and football table. I don't know what a football table is, but okay. Unless that's just another term for foosball, I don't know. Anyways, and were somehow able to set up functioning electric cookers for meal prepping. From the lower floors, however, the life was a lot more difficult. Floors that were around 10 to 15 stories from the top enjoyed easy, albeit boring, lives. All residents on the floors had tents, shacks made of wood or the mined concrete, as well as a select few residents possessing cooking appliances like the ones on the top floor. Those that did not possess cookers lived off of the food of others, or fruits and crops which they periodically harvested. While cookers could have been easily obtainable, it is thus far unknown how wanderers in Emstable obtained crops for the first time. The generally accepted theory is that Emstable's collapse exits to a level in which wanderers could cultivate the plants in existed, which allowed wanderers from to form a gateway between levels, which provided the convenience for farming. This theory also offers a possible suggestion as to what jobs the citizens of Emstable used to do to make a living in the level, which solidifies the theory's basis even further. At the bottom of Emstable's empire, below the 16th floor, life was extremely impoverished, and hard. Recovered diaries and notes write about how many would flee down even more floors in hopes to going to another level. Information on these lower depths is sparse, with a lot of the info being taken from found diaries or photos. Many of the population would starve at these depths, oftentimes relying on the benevolence of the floors above to be mindful and not take too much food as the supplies as to leave enough for themselves. They barely had any tents to separate homes, restoring to living out in the open in sleeping bags or frequently without anything at all. This system was inevitably exploited by the higher floors of level 22, demanding more from the lower floors while also giving less to the above floors. This led to the need for the third-party trade deals. These deals were ultimately unable to save Emstable from its collapse, which prompted the majority of its population to leave the level in search of a better life in other levels. While the true reason for the fall of Emstable is unknown, it is widely accepted that the main reasons were the faults in its societal system and the slow decline of level 22's structural integrity. Due to all the missing and scavenging on the level's supplies and natural concrete, many of the walls supporting pillars and ceilings and floors began to lose stability. All this accumulated into level's eventual collapse, which has made it so that large parts of the level are either inaccessible by conventional means or difficult and dangerous to access in the first place. Today, level 22 resembles an abandoned, destroyed car park. The ground is littered with rubble and girder poles, creating an extremely unsafe walking ground. Cars and abandoned tents can occasionally be found while traversing this level. The majority of these cars are rusty and covered in dust. While their physical condition is oftentimes severely poor, most cars are torn to shreds, the only remains of them being only husks of what were once 50s era cars. The previously mentioned tents are also known to house the corpses of former inhabitants of Emstable, especially on the lower floors, who weren't able to escape when the level was irreversibly broken. Traversing level 22 is extremely difficult and unsafe, which has made it so that most wanderers avoid the level due to the lack of structural integrity. The structure level 22 is unstable, and the stray debris can easily cause one to trip and injure themselves on the concrete, rebar, or destroyed automobiles. Apart from this, there are countless large gaping holes within level 22. These holes are often extremely deep, suggesting that these spots were mining or where mining occurred. While one can theoretically climb up and down these holes to reach new areas, doing so is heavily unadvised due to the inherent risks of free from climbing. I don't know what they mean by that. Unadvised due to the inherent risks of free from from climbing, which many recorded accidental deaths occurring due to wanderers attempting to do so. Okay. Recovered documents. Despite the original Istanbul inhabitants fleeing with their documentation and history, remnants of personal logs and confidential data have been recovered by various groups such as the Kallag Institute, the MEG, and the BNTG. Recovered diary by Hilda. Hilda is the presumed name of the recovered diary belonging to Jacob's Opal. For a full scanned copy of surviving pages in diary, inquire the site administrators or check the visual archives. The pages implemented onto this page. Okay. So, February 8th, 2014. The day I score it big. Today is going to be a big day, Hilda. Jonas Hilesian. I apologize on the horrible pronunciation of the name. I have no idea how to say it, but excuse me. Anyways, I've been working tirelessly to mine concrete. The guys that supply us with pickaxes over at the other level have been superbly generous and discounted the price on this new lot of picks. Can't thank them enough for that. Although on its own is good, it doesn't exactly make today a big day, does it, Hilda? The reason why this new mining is important is that it may finally get my family up in the ranks. My partner and I have been trying to get up to floor 20 for the longest time, and have been talking to those who live there, though they occasionally talk about a disdain for the lot on 21. They did say if we supplied them with enough concrete to give them to floor 19 and above, and they'd let my family up. Gray's been working extra hard on mining. Hell, I think he was out all night mining about a week ago, but it'll be worth it for our daughter, and I'm sure all of our hard work will pay off. June 8th, 2014. Build up our celebration. We're getting close to it now. The past 4 days have been immensely tough. Gray and I have been operating the concrete mines non-stop. We traded away as little as possible for food, just so we can have enough for Tia to eat happily each night. I can tell Gray is excited for this. He's been talking about it non-stop to Tia, explaining all the new stuff she'll get once we're on the next floor and such. You know, a lot of townsfolk around here don't believe we'll get to the next floor of Emstable, but I'll be sure to prove that point wrong to them. They've even spoken to Heligen, though this thankfully still dead set on aiding us, Aiden. Kellaby and Raven still try to talk me out of it. Is their concern appreciated? Yes. Do I need it right now? No. 30. Oh, I'm reading these dates backwards. I'm so used to how it is here. So that first date was August 2nd, and then August 6th, and then October 30th of 2015. I was gonna say, what the heck month is 30? Anyways, this entry has no title. Another day, another batch of concrete to send up. Raven's taking it all up this time for me. Which, thank God for that. I don't think I could even go into that Providence again, Hilda. At least Gray's doing okay. He and Heligen seem to be happy with Tia, whatever their newborn is called. It's not my issue to ask or care if I'm honest. You know, Hilda, I worried about Tia and Gray. I get they've got their nice new fancy accommodation up in the heights, up in the highs, but still I have no idea if either of the two misses me or if Helisian will ever let me over. My guess would be no, but hope exists somewhere, and if it exists somewhere I will find it. I'll meet you again, Tia. Mark my words on that. Okay, and then that's the diary. Recovered census report. Okay, I'm not really gonna dig too much, and that just looks like a supply list that they had. Alright, bases and communities. As written above, Emstable was the only active community in level 22. None have arisen since its collapse. The flag of Emstable. It's an interesting flag. That's kind of cool. Entrances and exits. Due to Emstable's initial efforts to border up all entrances to level 22, many of the old exits have been lost or has ceased to exist. However, all the collapse of level 22 now exits have arisen. Entrances. Level 22 can be accessed through both level 21 and 23. Both of these are new exits that were created due to the falling rubble and loss of structural integrity, creating holes in the floor level 21 and the ceiling of level 23. Alternatively, albeit rarely, some of the original entrances of level 22 can be found. It can be accessed by finding glass doors within level 1, taking ramps off of level 69, or finding an exit in the center areas inside level 172. Exits. Level 22 can be exited using the previously mentioned entrances from level 21 and 23. No original exits of level 22 that existed before the collapse have been found. However, successfully no clipping through cars or debris can lead to level 817. Alright, guys, and that is pretty much it for today's reading. So I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.